Hey, it is Chef Evelyn, and I am back with another video. And listen, if you are new here, listen, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for checking out the channel. If you've been here before, welcome back. And y'all, I'm ready to kick off September with a new series. You know what I'm saying? I've been away. I've been hanging out, playing on Instagram for a while. I'm back to my main fam over here, and I wanted to do kind of a lightweight chef timber, if you will. Now, if you're not familiar with chef timber is something I started several years ago, maybe back in 2017, where it is a month where I'm giving you extra videos, extra content, extra training, just in celebration of all of my chefpreneurs out there, right? The way to kind of get you excited, ramped up for the holiday season and for the year ahead. So this series particularly is going to be mainly focused towards those of you who are either still in your corporate job and wanting to transition into culinary entrepreneurship full-time, or if you've kind of already changed careers, but you're missing some things about corporate life. So this first video, I know you're probably looking at the title like, Evelyn, what do you mean? Okay, that my corporate job or culinary school is not the best for my business. And so let me explain. Now, before I get into the meat of this video, you know that if you've been here before, I have notes, right? Like if you've been enjoying the videos over time, if you've been kind of, catching up and having a little Netflix experience, binge watching through the videos, you know what I'm saying? Because there's over 200 videos on this channel, then I've got notes. So if you see me looking away or see me looking down, it's because I have notes, because I value your time and I want you to get what you came for. So I kind of want to get right into it. I want you to think back, right? Like when you were graduating from culinary school, do you remember how optimistic you were about starting your culinary business, right? Starting your food business, right? And if you were anything like me or any of my clients, like you were imagining all like the fancy dinner parties that you would be hosting and the exclusive events that you'd be catering. And, you kind of thought to yourself, celebrity clients are going to come easy, right? Because like your food is just that good, right? And you've seen people out here who aren't as talented as you are. So clearly, surely, right, this was going to be your experience, right? And plus, I think about it like this, before we go to culinary school, before we start our food business, our friends and family hype us up, right? Because we've got certain dishes or certain things that we make that everybody loves, that we have to bring, that if you don't bring them to the family function or for the special occasion, the family's kind of giving you the side eye. Where's fill in the blank, insert your signature dish, right? And so here's the thing though. So all of that is grand and wonderful, but you're realistic, right? So you knew there would be a little bit of a learning curve to running your business, okay? And listen, if you're watching my channel, then I know that you're not the kind of person who ever desired to work in a restaurant. So you were like, okay, you know what? I'm willing to put in the work. I'm willing to do what I need to do. And so you started your culinary journey, your culinary entrepreneurship journey, but you decided, you were like, I'm going to keep my full-time job in my back pocket so that, I can pay the bills, I can pay the mortgage, I can keep taking the trips, keep ourselves looking together until the business eventually takes off, right? But here's the challenge that I think a lot of us experience, right? That taking off ended up not looking the way we thought it would look like, unless you envisioned taking off looking like working every single weekend, right? So you're still working your full-time job during the weekend. Then on the weekends, you're working in your culinary business, but you only end up making by the time you take out all the expenses, you're making $500 to $1,000 in a weekend. And it's like, right, because you signed up to make $48,000 a year in your business. And for where you are in your corporate career, you haven't made $48,000 since you were an intern. Okay, right? I get it. Or you thought your business was going to take off, unless you thought taking off was going to look like having everybody trying to book you, right? They want you for their birthdays, they want you for their anniversary dinners, they want you for their office parties, their church events, right? But can you hook a sister up, because we're on a budget, right? So now everybody wants the hookup, right? Or you're getting clients consistently and people are recommending your services, but every time you send somebody an invoice, they want to negotiate the price, right? like, let me know in the comments below if you've ever had this experience where it's like, oh, okay, I'm going to, okay, they get the invoice and they're like, ooh, okay, I want to do it. But what if I bring the plates? What if I buy the groceries? What if my cousin serves it, right? Will that knock, some money off per head, right? Or our favorite way of our business taking off is getting the clients who have champagne taste, but on a beer budget. They want past appetizers. They want plated multi-course dinners. They want all the things, and they've got like $50 a person. Listen, and wrap that all up in the bow of your business taking off. And now you don't have any free time because you're having to work the nights, the weekends, because that's when you make most of your money, right? And so you're like, okay, if this is my business taking off, then I want no parts. Immediately, no. It's a no for me, right? And so you're in this interesting place because you're stuck with your full-time job, which, listen, let's be honest, you're tired of it, right? Maybe you don't hate it. Maybe you do, right? But you're over it. You're like, I cannot see myself here for another 5, 10, 15, 20 years. Like, no, but you're like, at the way your business is going, like, you have to keep it right now, right? But let me say this. I think this is what we thought would happen. We thought, very similar to our corporate career, right? That after graduating culinary school, you graduate from culinary school, and after a few months of hard work, right, you get clients who you'd be booked out at the top events of town making all the money, right? Can we be honest about what we thought, right? Because that's what other college taught us. Is you go to college, you get a good job, right? You thought you'd be able to quit your job because not only was the money coming in consistently, but you were being flown out to cook, right? Like, people want your food so much. It's like, listen, we'll put you on a plane. We don't even want to use anybody in our local area. We want you, right? You would have amazing people following you on social media. Your social media would take off, right? Because clearly people are out here doing much less and seem like they're blowing up, okay? You'd be able to host events and like the joy you would get from seeing your clients eat your food. And, you come out in your freshly embroidered chef jacket, hair done, makeup done. Talk about the inspiration behind your dishes, right? Somebody would have been sliding in your DMs being like, don't you want to publish a cookbook, right? You'd have a publisher reaching out to you. Or here's my favorite. You wouldn't even have to go on one of the Food Network competition shows. They would come across your brand and they would negotiate a deal behind the scenes about you having your own show. Like, can we be honest? Like that's kind of what we thought would happen. And you knew all this would happen because it's like, listen, you're not afraid of doing the work, right? And you've got this amazing culinary degree. You graduated with honors, and that should be enough. Like, your food is good. That should have been enough to kickstart your culinary entrepreneurship career, right? But here's why I say that your corporate job and culinary school isn't the best for the business, because it leaves you with this impression that getting a well-paying job, like when you went to college the first time, getting a well-paying job after undergrad was a given, right? And so you assume that would be the same case once you graduate from culinary school, right? And like everybody in your circles, whether it's professionally, personally, whether it's in your sorority, your alumni group, your church, your friend group, your family group, whatever the case may be, you're known as an amazing chef. And let's be honest, you kind of are probably the best cook that you know, right? So you knew you could kind of start with word of mouth, friends, family, all that to kind of get your first clients. And then the ball would just kind of snowball from there, right? And you assume that, okay, you're going to do a little bit of networking and that would exponentially grow your culinary business, right? And here's what sucks about that is that you've wanted to be in your business full time for so long. And all along you were under the impression that the thing that was holding you back was going to culinary school. And that was the one thing stopping you. But then you went to culinary school and you graduated. And you have like no idea, like, why hasn't this taken off? Why haven't I been discovered? There are people who aren't as good as you. Their food isn't as good as you. You know that their service isn't as good as what you do. Like, and it appears as if they've taken off. And even if you weren't necessarily trying to be discovered, you're like, I at least thought I'd be able to replace my corporate salary by now and stay booked, but that hasn't happened, right? And I want to tell you, I had a client who this was like her exact experience, right? She had an amazing corporate career that was paying her well, and the consistent income from her job made it easier for her to start and run her business for years. But it also, and this is why I say it's the corporate job part is bad, it stopped her from really figuring out how to make enough money to replace her salary, right? Because on the outside, she had a lot going for her. She had a catering business that stayed booked. She had a product line. She was making money. And because she was always booked, in her mind, she was like, okay, the next natural step is for me to add another income stream. And she was thinking about, doing virtual cooking classes because they were looking really appealing to her at that time, right? But what she didn't have was the time on the weekends to have a social life. She was working 7 days a week, right? If there was 8, she would have been working 8. If there was 26 hours in a day, she would have been working 26 because she was working her corporate job during the week. And because she was high level, it was very demanding. She was working her culinary business in the evenings on the weekend, and sometimes also working her corporate job on the weekends so that she could get ahead for the week, right? And so she didn't even have time to rest, right? And sometimes she was having to use vacation days or paid time off or sick leave to do her culinary business. And it's like, it wasn't really generating the kind of income that she thought. And so when you have that corporate job, it doesn't always make you have to figure out, what do I need to do? What needs to happen for me to replace, and even more so exceed this current corporate salary, right? And so she also hadn't even figured out, even after all of those revenue streams, how to make enough money to places like, so she was like, I've got the services, I've got the products. Now I'm thinking about doing classes. And when you added that all up together, it still wasn't replacing her corporate income, right? And so she did what I know a lot of you have done. And let me know in the comments if you've done this. You were following somebody on social media. You were following a general business coach. Maybe they were telling you to post on social media 3 times a day. Maybe they were telling you to run ads. Maybe they were telling you to do all of the things, right? And so you hired this general business coach and you went through their program. And while you liked them and they were fine, what you soon realized is they didn't know anything about food. They didn't know anything about culinary entrepreneurship, and culinary entrepreneurship is not exactly the same as general business or these programs that are geared at coaches or consultants or things like that, right? And even though you technically are a service provider, it didn't work, right? And so it just the advice, the strategies actually didn't work for her business, right? And so now here she was 4 years into the game, into her business. And like, you are intelligent. She's intelligent. You knew that having a successful business was not going to happen overnight. But she had to realize that taking shortcuts or looking for the shortcut was actually the long way around, right? Like jumping to passive income, multiple income streams, running ad, only delayed the process of how to have a profitable and sustainable business. One of my favorite coaches says, like, people want to jump to making money when they're asleep, when they haven't mastered making money when they're awake. Shout out to you, Letitia, right? Like, a lot of times when people come to me, they're like, okay, I'm ready to add all these different revenue streams. And I'm like, you haven't even gotten all the money out of the main revenue stream that you have right now. And that's what we ended up doing with this client. Like, she was making $700 to $1,000 a month, sometimes a quarter, in her business, says plural. And it was like, before we added another income stream, before we started running ads, through just really changing her brand, we got her to making, let me just say this, more than $1,000 in a weekend. Okay, right? And so the thing she learned was that she really needed to get serious about whether or not she was just going to continue to do her culinary business on the side as a paid hobby, make some cute little money to pay for a trip here and there, pay for a spa day here and there, right? Kind of use side hustle tactics that she's seen people talk about on social media. Or she had to decide, was she going to commit to doing what it took and what it takes to get free from her corporate job, but not only get free, but to stay free, right? And so my question to you is, how long have you waited, or how long have you been waiting to be like, I really just want to be in my culinary business full time? Let me know in the comments below. Do you agree or disagree on the reasons why culinary school and even your corporate job kind of aren't the best for your culinary business? And listen, I look forward to your comments. Like I said, make sure you turn your notifications on and make sure you save the date, because I'm doing a live workshop on September the 26th. You want to save the date. I'm going to leave all the details in the description box below. If this video kind of poked you in the side a little bit and you're like, yes, Evelyn, this is me, or like, I already left and I'm still trying to get back to my corporate salary, then make sure you check out all the details below in the description box, and I'll see you in my next video. Peace.